Have you ever had that feeling? You know the one. You're putting in the long hours, you're staying disciplined, you're pushing through total exhaustion, but you're just not getting ahead. If that sounds familiar, you are definitely not alone. And we're about to dive into exactly why that is.
I mean, this is the question, isn't it? Just look around. We're in a culture of absolute burnout. Everyone is grinding away, but somehow financial stress and that feeling of being stuck are just everywhere. It really feels like being exhausted stopped being a badge of honor and started being a sign that something is seriously wrong.
And this, right here, is the core idea we're going to unpack. Let me say it again. This isn't about you not trying hard enough. It's about a massive shift in how the world works that happens so quietly, most of us never even got the memo. The playbook we were all given, it's expired. So let's start by taking a look at that old playbook. I'm calling it the expired blueprint. These are the foundational ideas about work and success that, let's be honest, most of us were raised on. This was the promise, right? The one our parents and our schools drilled into us. The formula seemed so simple. Just put in the hours, grind harder than everyone else, and the rewards, the good job, the security, the success, they would just show up eventually. It was supposed to be a straight path. But here is the really uncomfortable truth. While we all had our heads down grinding away, the entire world changed. The internet completely flipped the economy on its head. And those old rules that rewarded just showing up and putting in the hours, they were quietly swapped out for a whole new set of rules that nobody ever taught us. This quote just illustrates the problem so perfectly. See, working harder with the wrong strategy doesn't actually get you to success. It just gets you to burnout way faster. We're putting in all this incredible effort, climbing as fast as we can, only to look around and realize we're someplace we never even wanted to be. So if more effort isn't the answer, then what is? Well, this brings us to the real diagnosis of the problem. There's been this huge economic shift away from rewarding physical effort and towards rewarding something completely different: attention and leverage. This chart lays it all out. The old economy paid you for your time, for doing the same thing over and over. But the new economy, it's a whole different ballgame. It rewards leverage, the ability to turn one idea into 1,000 results. It rewards holding people's attention. And it rewards originality, not just how exhausted you are at the end of the day. And this is the absolute key. Value isn't just about hours worked anymore. It's about visibility. It's about influence. It's about being able to capture and hold someone's focus. Think about it. Someone can post a 5-second video and create more value than another person grinding for an entire month. That's not just luck. That is the new economy in action. Okay, so we figured out the problem, right? The old blueprint is broken, and the economy now values attention more than pure effort. So what in the world do we do about it? Let's dive into the new rules of work. First, we have to understand who the real enemy is. And it's not hard work. The real enemy is misalignment. It's that feeling of drowning, kicking harder and harder but only sinking deeper into the mud. That's the specific kind of burnout that happens when you pour all your precious energy into something that just isn't aligned with who you are or the new rules of the game. So how do we find that alignment? It really starts with these 4 steps. Number 1, pause. Just stop the frantic sprinting for a second and ask yourself, what is truly draining me? 2, simplify. You don't need 10 different goals and 5 side hustles. You need one clear, honest direction. 3, leverage what makes you unique. In a world drowning in repetition, your originality is your biggest superpower. And finally, and this one is so important, protect your energy. Rest is not a reward you earn, it's a critical part of your strategy. Now, following these new rules requires an even deeper shift inside you, because to really win this new game, you have to completely change the way you define what winning even looks like. This slide really brings it home. Old success was like a checklist, right? The job title, the income, the constant busyness that just screams, I'm important. But new success, it's internal. It's about feeling aligned, not just racking up achievements. It's about finding peace, not just being busy. And it's about a sense of internal freedom that has nothing to do with what anyone else thinks. And that is the heart of it, right there. We've all been conditioned to chase this loud, flashy, performative version of success. But true success in this new era is quiet. It's that feeling of rightness you get when nobody's watching. It's when your life just feels good, not just looks good on social media. Now, I know the word peace can sound, well, kind of boring, maybe a little passive, especially if you're ambitious. But we need to reframe it. Peace is power. It is the ultimate sign of alignment. It's what happens when you finally stop performing for everyone else and you just start being, making choices based on your own truth instead of a fear of what others might think. So this all leads us to one final big idea, a brand new strategy for being driven and successful without burning your soul to the ground. It's called peaceful ambition. See, peace and ambition were never actually enemies. We were just taught that you had to sacrifice one to get the other. Peaceful ambition brings them together. It's a kind of drive that comes from inspiration, not from insecurity. It's about creating from a place of alignment, where the work you do actually recharges you instead of draining you. And this isn't just some abstract theory, it's something you can actually build. You can start by choosing a natural rhythm over a rigid routine. Protect your mornings, treat them like sacred ground for focus. Make sure what you're creating each day is actually aligned with who you are. And finally, you have to realize that true productivity is about doing what really matters. And sometimes the most productive thing you can do is rest.
So let's end on this thought. For way too long, we've treated exhaustion like a trophy. We've mistaken being busy for being important. But the game has totally changed. The new measure of success, the real flex, isn't about how much you can suffer. It's about how deeply and truly aligned you feel. So the question I want to leave you with is this. What's one thing you can do today to start moving away from exhaustion and toward alignment?